The buyer was a little short on his final payment, so that makeup check came in after the resolution, the due date. So we were instructed to just put this on the spreadsheet again. We did receive the final payment, and it just has to be added to this month's resolution. So you already approved this bid last month.
Okay, yeah, I actually just finding out that I don't have the first page, so I'll just have to wing it. So you approved last month?
Approved that last month, right? That's 28-1-2 in Blooming Grove.
Okay. Next.
Okay, and number 2, Blooming Grove 29-1-20.1. This is on a 53 by 100 lot. It's one family residential in the Mountain Lodge Park area. Its classification would indicate to me the property does have a well and septic. It's as you can see from the picture, it's a small 580 square foot 1-bedroom home. The back taxes are almost 14. The bid came in at 10. I think we're going to say no on that and hold off for a little more money. It does come with outside furniture, as you can see from the picture. So.
Okay. Again, I'm trying to look up the old first page. So continue now. Number 3.
Okay. Number 3, 29-3-70. This is a 20 by 100 residential vacant lot, Mountain Lodge Park area. It is from 1999. It's an oldie. About 1158 on the back taxes. We haven't received a bid in that for forever, but we do have a $250 bid. So I'm recommending we take the bid on that one. So that's a yes.
Okay, and actually I should have stopped everybody to do these one at a time. Were there any questions on number 1 from committee members or other legislators listening? Okay, hearing none. Okay. Was there any questions on number 2, even though it is a no? Was there anything else that anyone needed to know? Okay, and the last one, number 3, that was just discussed. Any other questions from committee members on number 3 before we move on? All right, thanks. Okay, Eric, number 4.
Number 4, Blooming Grove 3325, and this is a residential vacant land. This is the one we've had about 3 bids on this one from the same gentleman. It was a house that was demolished. This month he only came up $500, and I'm recommending we say no to this. And in addition to the letters that we always send stating that the committee rejected the bid and we need more money, I probably this month to follow up with a phone call to this gentleman.
Okay.
Okay, no. And then number 5, Cornwall 1.
Hold on.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Just any questions on number 4 from anyone?
I do.
Okay, Mr. Menuda.
Thank you. Just very quickly, I did hear that you're going to make a phone call to him. Are we able to negotiate with these bidders after the fact to get them to where we need them to be, or is that something that needs to be put out to rebid?
We would need to, basically just to get him to kind of like explain to him that he's got to up his bid, which is kind of a renegotiation, but it would have to be done in another month.
I see. Thank you very much.
Okay, you're welcome.
Just to know the process.
Yeah, he's constantly twisting people's arms and letting them know it's not enough. It's not enough. But obviously, they hold the final approval card. Okay, so on to number 5, Eric.
Cornwall 1150.2. This is a 1.1 vacant with improvement. There had been somewhat of like a trailer on there. As you can see in the pictures, there's not much of anything left. The back taxes are $22,183. Bid was $5,000. I'm recommending no on that one.
Okay. Any questions from anyone on number 5? Okay, Eric, 6.
Mr. Chairman, I had a question on number 4.
Go.
I think you missed me. On number 4, the minimum bid was $22,500, and his bid came in at $23,050, and then he upped it another $2,700. Is there a reason that we're not accepting if our minimum has been met, or are we raising what our minimum is?
In many cases, like, we would recommend raising the minimum. On this one, the back taxes are almost 52,000, and that I think, which we didn't put on this month, but there was about $18,000 of that back taxes was a demo charge for the demolition of the existing single-family home. So, I mean, on occasion we do up the minimum bids, but on this one, I think you have the right to reject or accept anything. So.
Well, I agree with that, but it seems that a lot of the people start right at whatever that minimum is. So if we're looking to get more, if we're going to rebid it, should we just raise the minimum so that they know, I mean, if they come in lower, then you have the choice of accepting their lower. But if we're giving them a minimum and we're not accepting it when they're over the minimum, that doesn't look like really good for us. So I would prefer if we just raised it up to what we're looking to get, and then if they come in less, we can always decide if we want to accept it.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yep, understood. And in many cases with some of the lots that, in the past, I have done that, increase the minimum, but to be perfectly honest on this one, I didn't. But I will.
Okay, good suggestion. Thanks, Kathy. Okay, so 5 is also a no. Any questions for the commissioner? All right, number 6.
6, Cornwall 911.1, 5.6 acres vacant commercial. Back taxes are $3259.03, and we have a bid of $4,000, so I recommend accepting that bid.
Okay. Questions from legislators or others listening? Mr. Hine?
Yeah, what's wrong with that property that you want to give 6 acres away for $4,000?
Let me get to that picture. 911.1. I believe it's. I can't really say it's landlocked without going through all the deeds, but it does appear that it's has no road frontage. This one is. Yeah, actually, off of 32 in the back, you see from the parcels along the edge there, there's really no frontage, and the assessment and the back taxes would support the fact that it is hindered by its lack of frontage.
Okay, Mr. Hines?
I guess.
Okay. Any other questions? Other legislators? Kathy?
I was going to ask the same question that Legislative Hines asked. Did we reach out to the company that it's right there, it's attached to and part of?
We do send adjoining owner letters out on these properties, yes.
Okay, I just want to check on that because I mean, somebody's going to find some way to actually reach that, to use it for something. So, okay, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Is there any other use for that for an adjoining property owner, Commissioner?
Well, if you want, I can, actually, this is a 2020 sale. If you'd like, what I can do is retract that yes, and like on this parcel, since the auction was just recently, I'll take that back about sending adjoining owner letters out. We didn't yet on those, so I will take the recommendation to send out adjoining letters, and we'll make that one known.
Okay.
Is that good with everybody?
I mean, that's our normal procedure, is to
Yes.
approach them,
Mhm.
approach them first.
And
Okay.
the auction companies do send out adjoining letters too. That's part of their process when they advertise for the auction also. So it just didn't
Okay.
sell at the auction.
Right. Well, I think the adjoining property owners need to have the, consideration that they normally get with this. Mr. Menuda?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. 2 questions. One, it looks like that majority of the property looks to be possibly wetland, based on the, satellite photo? And then how do we end up in these positions where we've got landlocked properties with no access? That to me just spells disaster. I mean, I'm sure they're pre-existing, they've been there forever, but how do we end up with subdivisions, that do this?
In many cases, it might be same owners. One of the owners that had one of the frontage parcels also owned this one, or one of the surrounding ones. But I agree, it's a problem. Unless you have a helicopter or something, you know what I mean? It's a big problem.
Well, people,
All right.
subdivisions and other properties have been landlocked in many different ways, all the time. It's just another consideration of the property value. Mr. Kulisek, did you have your hand up?
I did have, but it was the same question or the same statement. It looked like wetlands on 75% of the satellite photo.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Okay, so we're going to change that one to a no, till the adjoining property owners can be notified. Eric,
Yes.
number 7.
Okay, number 7, Deer Park 29812, a 50 by 91 parcels in the Myers Grove subdivision. This basically was one of the 5 properties that was involved in the state's flood program that they had back in 2009, where people would put an application through the state, and we would go out, inspect the property, appraise the property, check that they didn't receive any kind of FEMA reimbursement or anything from flood damage. And then we had the properties demolished. The land was then turned over to the county, and some years later, we were able to dispose of these properties with a deed restriction that would go with it. And this bidder is well aware that there's a deed restriction, that the parcel can only be used for flood mitigation, recreation, and basically like a buffer zone. And she's not an adjoining owner, but basically could have purchased it for a garden or who knows what. And there's no taxes due because we've been paying the taxes on, this is the last of the flood parcels to be sold. So all along, it wasn't like a delinquent tax matter, it was different. So this parcel will be transferred. I'm recommending yes, and the deed will also have deed restrictions in it that I've mentioned before.
Okay, so she is aware she can basically just pitch a tent or put a picnic table.
Correct.
Okay. Questions from committee members or others listening? All right, seeing none. So the motion will be to approve for page 1, according to the commissioner, parcel number 1, 3, and 7. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Wasn't number
Thank you.
6 in there also?
I'm sorry,
Cornwall-
6 was a
the
no
Cornwall-
until the, 6 was changed
Okay.
to a no until the adjoining
Okay.
property owners could be notified.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, Eric, page 2.
Okay, page 2, number 8, Monroe 36-3-32.3. You'll see on your aerials, this is actually like a cul-de-sac portion of a private road. And the back taxes are $389.38. Amount of bid is $400. I don't know why he's bidding on this, but private road. But just for your reference too, we don't take roads anymore, and a lot of the assessors do put 0 assessments on them, so we don't get involved in these situations. It's a nightmare. I've only remember one road that sold where everybody on the road got along, and they bought the road together. But so that's what we're dealing with, a cul-de-sac of a private road here.
Okay. My question would be, is it this private road lead to any landlocked properties where he would put up a toll gate and keep someone from getting to their property because now he owns this piece?
No landlocked properties you can see from the subdivision, and I would believe that people would have the right of ingress and egress on the road.
Okay.
And some people are under the impression that they can do that, but I don't believe it would be the case.
Okay, good. Okay, questions from other legislators? Kathy?
Hi, thank you, Mr. Chairman. Can we look into that and maybe move this one till the next month? I would be really concerned that you're buying up a cul-de-sac, that you have 3 properties at least right there. And I can't see the full picture of it, but the one looks like it does have an access to Forest Lane or Forest Glen Road on the back end, but that 16-329 property or 36-329 property would not have any access other than that cul-de-sac. So without knowing for sure that he could not landlock those people or even charge them some astronomical fees so that they can get to the houses that they've lived in, I think this one should be looked at, to make sure that he couldn't do anything. And it would be written into, if he bought it, it being written into the actual transfer that he cannot do anything to keep the people who live off of that road off of it so they have access to their homes.
Well, the commissioner is generally right. Usually within everyone's deed, it's deeded property rights for access. Does everybody else think that we should pull this one back as well? Mr. Padu?
Yeah, Lee, just in that same regard, he could ask them, if he owns that road now, he could ask them for money for a maintenance agreement to take care of it. So yeah, I agree with Kath, we should maybe look into a little more before we just okay that.
Okay, and then I'll take it up on.
Unless he already has a maintenance agreement, I don't know.
No
Maybe
problem.
he has a maintenance agreement on it.
Eric, I'll remove this myself as chairman and
Okay.
just to rely on you to bring it back next month with just to answer the question of the deeded property rights.
Absolutely.
Okay, number 9.
Number 9, actually, this property, same bidder, we received a bid on the second list. So if you don't mind, we'll skip over that until we deal with the second list.
Okay,
We have 2 bids on that property.
all right, good. Next.
10A and 10B, we had a bid on this somewhat recently. Just a little background. This is, you can see from your pictures, this was the builder's building as far as their office building for when the condo development in Ladaughton Way was constructed. And there were sour grapes evidently between the builder and the homeowners association. And I don't know why, but the planning board approved them splitting this 25 by 50 building on a 25 by 50 lot off the common area and creating its own parcel, which basically we a lot of back taxes, even though it says 2019, delinquency goes back from to 2012. And I don't know if Matt's on the call too, but he can help you out with, this was a tax enforcement matter going way back on this building. And I spoke with the building inspector. Anyone who looks at this property, I make sure I tell them, I said, you have to do your homework. I don't, there's, and from what the building inspector tells me, absolutely no residential use would be allowed for this property. One of the other documents I did provide with the pictures is the file document at the county clerk's office that shows that when they did break it off, this parcel does have ingress and egress over the common area. So that's what we're dealing with. A lot of back taxes. I've had it in 3 auctions so far. And the second bid of 45 is the best we've seen. I know it's a big loss on this one. I do recommend we take it. The bidder says she did all her homework as far as, what she's planning to do with it. I know there's supplemental information that she provided along with the bid. But I don't know, Matt, do you have anything to add to that if you're there?
Yeah, this was a very difficult parcel, and it took a while to foreclose on it, in part because we thought for a while it would be impossible to sell, so we took it out of the proceeding altogether. But then we realized we really couldn't sue the owner because of residency requirements in the statute, and really wasn't appropriate to cancel and charge back. So we decided to take title. That took some time. The court marked the proceeding as withdrawn at one point for no apparent reason. So it's much. There's a lot of taxes on it. That's because it goes a long way, and that's because it was very questionable whether we could ever sell this thing at all. And 6-7 years ago, we thought we'd never sell it. We'd never get a nickel for it. So the fact that Eric's found some money for it, I think he deserves a lot of credit that he's found some buyers.
Also,
So
I'm sorry, go ahead, Matt.
Yeah, the amount of back taxes does not reflect the value of the property in any way, shape, or form. It's just an old, ugly old case. I would suggest we sell it as soon as possible and get rid of it.
And just to add to, I mean, the homeowners association really should be the buyer for this property. I suggested they, supply you with any type of bid on the property. They refused. I've had to send people out. Raccoons got in the building, send a pest guy out, send another person out afterwards to repair the soffits. Most recently, sent a roofer out to do some work on it for leaks in the roof. It would be good to get out from under this property, and the buyers, I know both bidders are definitely aware that they have some work before they place any bids on this property. No one's coming in blind on this.
Okay, Mr. Cheney?
Thank you, Chairman. I guess I was kind of surprised by the building inspector's representation that there couldn't be any residential use. Did he have a basis for making that statement?
One thing he said to me was, this, as you can see from the pictures, this building is right next to the pool and the clubhouse. So he said they really couldn't see any people, looking out the windows at people swimming in the pool. It'd be kind of creepy.
That's not a zoning.
Yeah.
That was just
maybe
that doesn't answer whether it's buildable or not.
That's legality.
I think
I'm sorry.
Was that represented to these potential bidders that this office building use would be continued?
I know they researched it because, I pretty much told her, being the property and all these properties, these properties, every one of these leftover properties, these properties didn't sell at auction for one reason or another. And, whenever anybody talks to me, I said, you really got to do your homework and check with the building departments in the towns and villages and see that you can do what you want to do with the building. And the higher bidder told me she absolutely researched the property. I was hoping she'd come in a little higher, but this is the best we've done in a while. So
it's zoned residential, and the use that she's demonstrated in her letter, I don't believe is included as either a conditional, special, or permitted use in the zone. But I'm not going to suggest that we don't go forward with it. But we're probably throwing it in the lap of the village to then, do what they can to help this person out through whatever mechanism exists. But I'll have to talk to the building inspector, I guess.
Yeah, I know and the assessor, I know legality is the building inspector. The assessor has it classified as an office building. Again, it was just surprising that the village would have allowed this to be broken off in the first place,
Yeah, I'll look into that too. I'm kind of
Okay.
surprised, but that happened a long, long time ago. So.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Thank you.
You're welcome. So it's kind of like, as we know, all of these are buyer beware. But Mr. Cheney, if you do find out something that you can get in writing from the supervisor or building inspector or someone, let me know, and then we would, if we have to, just pull this from the session.
Okay,
Sound good?
thank you. Thank you.
Okay. Any other questions from other legislators? Okay, Eric, next.
Okay,
Is that on
number
the same
11.
page? Again, I'm working from my phone here. Is that the end of that page, or is there one more?
One more.
Okay, good.
Okay, this is Woodbury 231, 215. A small piece of vacant land backs up to the Quickway, or I believe Quickway, yes. And again, it's not a buildable lot, and the back taxes are $1445, a $500 bid, and it's back from 2008. I recommend approving that bid.
Okay. Okay, questions on number 10 or number 11? Okay, so seeing none on this page, the commissioner has recommended approving 10B and 11. All in favor? Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Thank you. Okay, Eric, next.
Okay, I'm sorry, did I skip over number 9, 11, 8, 21?
Yes.
Okay, I apologize.
You said that was on another page coming up, didn't you?
Oh, yes. I'm with you. Sorry about that, folks.
It's okay.
Okay?
Good, go.
Okay, this is the second page, Blooming Grove 27120, a 12 by 100 piece of vacant land. The taxes are $3,016, and the bid is $701. Can't do much with this lot. I'm recommending we say yes on this lot.
Okay. Questions from committee members or other legislators? Hearing none. Okay. 12.
12 is Chester 111-2-11.2, 35 by 144 piece of residential vacant lot, 2185.72 on back taxes, 1301 is the bid. Saying no, I want to send out adjoining letters again on this property. It looks like an access property, and so I would like to say no on that one.
Okay. Next.
Okay, any questions on that one?
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, questions from legislators or others? Thank you, Eric.
No problem. Okay, Cornwall 3952. This is a 0.31 acre vacant land. Taxes are $78.56, $78.56.56. This is from 1995. We have a bid of $501. On that, I had said no because I was thinking the same thing. This is the list I only got about a half an hour to look at before we had to submit them, so they make their way to you. But we have some history on this property. It's if you look at the aerial, this is another road, and the first half of the road off of Angola is evidently when the road was taken, it was worked out that the one owner in the front would get that portion of the road. I don't know how that worked out, but we ended up with the back half of the road. We do have history on it, so there's really no need to send out adjoining owners letters again on it. I've spoken with homeowners on the property. We've had big problems with tree limbs falling in power lines, and even though you explained to people that the county took over the road for or the piece of land that is being used as a road for back taxes, the county is not responsible for the road maintenance. Some people have different ideas on that, but any bid on this, I think we should get out from under it, is my opinion. So I would say I'm going to change my recommendation to a yes on that one.
Taxes still keep piling up every year, right?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
So that's why it seems out of control. It's $78.50.
Yeah, it's like an old one, 1995.
Okay. All right. Questions from legislators? Hearing none. Okay, Eric, next.
Okay, this is you'll see from here, a thin little piece along Idlewild Park Drive. Again, my first look at this thought that maybe we should say no, but the back taxes are 2156.35, and the bid is 1350. I don't see it being a major benefit to adjoining property owners, as far as, even though it would have quite a bit of frontage to it. So if you wouldn't mind, I'd like to change my recommendation to a yes on that one.
Okay. Questions from legislators or others? Hearing none. Next.
Okay, the next one is Goshen 1716. It's back taxes. This is from 2013. Back taxes 1953.05. Bid of 1,000, which meets the minimum. This parcel is around was Wolf Plumbing there, along kind of before, right after Pulaski Highway. There's a little triangular shaped unbuildable lot. So I recommend we take the bid and say yes on that one.
Okay, questions from legislators? All right, Eric, next.
Okay, I'll do, if you don't mind, I'll do 16 and 17 together. These are small access parcels in a little, in a newer residential subdivision. And I have my tax map techs doing some research on them, because generally speaking, if we would see from the notes on the subdivision map that they almost look like they were put there to, provide potential access for the neighboring piece of property, which is, quite large. So I would like to say no on both those parcels, 16 and 17, and do more research on them.
Yeah, because that looks like a perfect parcel for to be set up like, by the original landowner or something, to try and get a big subdivision in there.
Yeah, and so far it's not clear in the subdivision map either, although it should be. And if we can put it back on the town, that would be
okay.
something
We'll
to
remove
do.
those. Good.
Okay.
Next.
Okay, Montgomery, number 18, Montgomery 3115.224. This is 40 by 360 piece of vacant land from 2011. 281.11 on the back taxes, 301 minimum bid. Recommendation is yes on that one.
Okay, and again, it looks like just private road that in the original subdivision, somebody kept it separate rather than assigning it to an individual.
Yeah, and we have had issues on this also. Basically, some complaints that somebody's putting stones next to their driveway, and I've been called out there a couple times. So you try to work with the adjoining owners, but it doesn't work out. But hopefully roads won't be our problem in the future. So.
Okay. Questions from legislators? Kathy?
This would be my concern. Is this a new one, or is this like really old, this Montgomery? It shows 2011. Is that how long we've had it?
2011 is when it went to auction. So basically the back taxes are from 2009. And, people on the road have been contacted, and town and everyone else basically, but private roads, I know my town doesn't allow private roads anymore, and it's bad news.
Yeah, because this looks like it's actually two roads that it covers, one coming off of the main road,
Right.
and a secondary one, and then it pretty much kills that last house if somebody bought that.
Right, and we have contacted them before. That basically the owner, as you go into that wider portion, 3122, this is one where there was a complaint, and they were setting some stones to avoid people, basically backing up into their driveway. So it has been an issue. People have been notified. And like I said, we've tried to make it work for the people that should have it, really. This is, auction flippers out of Texas don't know why they bid on these things, but, they're a problem, so.
Eric, can you tell me, did we offer this to the town at all? Do you know if we offered it to the town?
I'm sure I could probably find the document. I've spoken with the town about it, but in order for the town to have some kind of interest, it would have to be brought up to town specs. That one section is just going in is very narrow. As I said, this is something the planning board approved, these private roads, and we kind of got stuck with it.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Okay, any other questions from other legislators? Okay, so again, for this page, the commissioner is recommending approving number 11, 13, 14, 15, and 18. All in favor? Aye.
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 Opposed? Carried. Thank you. Okay, Eric.
Okay, 19, Mount Hope 11-8-7. This is a 50 by 150 piece of residential vacant land. It 120801 on the back taxes. We have a bid at the minimum, so at 1201, or $1 above the minimum. So I'm recommending yes on this bid.
Okay. Questions from legislators or others? Okay, Eric, next.
Okay,
I'm
this
sorry,
is
Chairman, is this the one that goes with the other one from,
the next
This
one.
is the
oh,
next one.
okay.
It's the
Thank
next one. Yep. Okay, Commissioner.
Yep, 9A and 9B. This is actually same area, 50 by 125 lot, 11-8-21. We were selling these, or trying to sell these in groups of 5 because they're I don't think they're even buildable as far as 5 lots out there. There's no water and sewer or anything, but we do have a bid at 600 and a bid at 601. Taxes are 1307.28, and I'm recommending we approve 9B.
Okay. Questions from legislators? Seeing no hands. Okay, Eric, next.
Okay, number 20, Newburgh 105-1-6, Vermont Drive. It's a newer lot. This is 1307.28 are the back taxes. We have a $1,300 bid. It is a subdivision, located in a subdivision, and the assessment on the lot, I did not call the building inspector, would indicate it's kind of a buffer lot, or I don't think it's like a retention area, but so it doesn't have much value as far as the town too. So I am recommending we accept that bid.
Okay, yeah, it's a corner lot, and I can't remember exactly, but I know exactly where it is. So, All right. Questions from legislators? Next, Eric.
Mr. Chairman, I had my hand up.
Kathy.
This one is a 2020 year. Did we notify the neighbor right there to see if they'd be interested in extending their property to that lot?
We did not, but the auction company did.
Well, sometimes it's better if it comes official, because I know that when I get auction company stuff, it goes in the garbage. I don't even open it. Whereas if a letter came from Orange County offering it, they would open it.
It's up to you. I would be happy to table it or send out adjoining letters on that one if you'd like.
Okay. Not a bad idea. Thanks, Kathy. Okay.
Yeah, I'd agree with that, Mr. Chairman. It's, as a local resident, if he has a chance to pick up some property, and especially could extend his property into a corner lot, that would be rather than go to auction flippers,
Yeah, I agree with that.
Okay, I'm happy to do that. No problem.
Okay. Next.
Okay, Newburgh 4127.8, 57 by 200 piece of vacant land, little triangular piece right against the highway, and they bid. Our minimum bid is 3. They bid 6. The back taxes are 406.25. It's an oldie from 2011. I'm recommending we accept the bid.
Okay. Yeah, that's out near the Hot Shop area,
Yeah.
Mill Street and the Thruway. Okay, questions from legislators? Okay, hearing none. Next,
Next is Newburgh 4-1-69.2. Another private road. There's a lot of private roads in Newburgh, and
Yep.
we have tried to sell this to adjoining property owners. It's pretty old, from 2008. We would be taking a hit on it at $29.51 back taxes. The bid is $600, but again, it would be good to get out from under this, so I would recommend yes.
okay. And again, that is near the Hot Shop, because you can see the Hot Shop right south of that communications tower near the adjoining property. Okay, questions from legislators on that? Mr. Paduk?
Yeah, Lee, just one question. That's a private cul-de-sac again?
It's the whole road with the private road and private cul-de-sac.
Do you know if it's a deeded right away to all those parcels? Because that couldn't stop them from going up that road then.
I couldn't imagine that wouldn't be the case, Mike. I kind of remembered when this was developed.
Yeah,
And I'm pretty sure, I'd be 99% sure that the town of Newburgh handled at least that part properly.
And it's all built out. All the lots are built on. You can see the houses and whatnot. I don't know if the one could be subdivided perhaps, but everybody pretty much should have the right of ingress and egress.
right,
Yeah,
so does
I would agree
does
to
the
that.
town maintain it, or does the private?
No, private road.
Private road, so there's a maintenance agreement probably with all of them in there, I would think, if there's
There
a
should
deeded
be.
right away.
I would
There
think
should-
so.
Yeah, but that's another reason that we don't, private roads especially, eventually, hopefully the towns that are town roads, of course, will be dedicated, but sometimes
Yeah.
they can be written, sometimes they can be oral, the road maintenance agreements, so.
Well, that was probably the thing, like in general, a developer doesn't like to spend the money to bring the road up to town spec. So they
Right.
make it a private road.
Right.
That's all.
I don't know,
Kathy, you had your hand up. Did you took it down?
I did have it up. I was just wondering, I mean, like, say this Texas group that's offering this money for that property comes in and they decide to either charge them, a fee for maintaining it, or they decide to, I don't know, I just kind of look at it that, extort them for whatever so that they can get to their houses. If we haven't been maintaining it and they've been maintaining it themselves and so forth, I mean, what would stop them from doing that other than it would become a civil suit then, because it wouldn't involve the county or the town. It would be the landlords against the owners who live in these homes. Are we creating a, volatile type of situation here by maybe not doing a little bit more due diligence on these particular cul-de-sacs and roads?
Eric, do you want to check on this one also for deeded access?
I could, but I don't think they would have I don't believe that this would have been set up with the lots the way they were without making sure everyone would have the access. And I know it's from 2008, and we have reached out to property owners as well as, visibly posting the roads when they come up for sale. But I'd be happy to do anything you want me to do. Let me know.
What's the committee think? Mr. Menuda?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I have equal concerns with that. Usually when roads are put in for subdivision, if it's 3 houses or less, it needs to be just a private road. But normally during the site plan approval process, that information is written on the site plan for approval for either maintenance agreement of the road, or it's deeded within at least one of the parcels unless all have a share of it. So this, to me, is a bit of an enigma, and I'm not sure why it's a separate lot. And there's got to be more paperwork to it than this.
We can ask him to check on it. That's fine.
Yeah, and if you'd like, I can, if you want to table it, I'll get you more information on it. But typically what happens when the subdivisions maps come through with private roads, the assessor will, or actually they'll ask us to or if it is a private road, it usually gets a private section block, and it always gets a private section block and lot. It's up to the assessor to decide whether they're assessing it or not. I've talked to many assessors, and they're listening to me that the people, what's a road worth, because the people, have the right to go in and out. So many assessors now are putting 0 assessments on them. And, but if there's $100 assessment on the property, that's where we get into trouble. A tax bill is generated.
I don't mind having us pull it just so that we can get moving. So
we'll table it. Well, we won't say no. We'll bring it up next month, perhaps.
Good. That's fine. Okay, right. So on this page, we have Commissioner's recommendation for yes for number 19, 9B, and 21. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Thank you. Last page, Eric.
Okay, this is Newburgh 34-113.2. It's this one actually was, let me see, 34-14.2. I'm sorry. Okay. 60 by 80 piece of vacant land from 2008. Back taxes are $439.17. Minimum bid, or the amount of the bid, is $501, and I'm recommending we accept that bid.
Okay, yeah, just a tiny, tiny piece.
Yep.
Questions from legislators? Hearing none. Okay, Eric, next.
Okay, Tuxedo 711.2. This is basically a from 2009, 35 by 320, up against Route 17, vacant land. The back taxes are $1570.74. The bid is 301. The minimum is 3, and I don't see any need to hold on to this property, and recommend we take the hit and say yes on this.
Okay. Questions from legislators? Okay, seeing none. Next.
Okay, next one, the two together, 6-2-25 and 26. If you look at the aerials, we've had these a while, and we've sent letters to the adjoining property owners, and I just want to try again, because the intentions here seem to support the fact that and I believe there was a note that these owners in the back, it never did happen, but I'd like to see if we can, not coerce, but just kind of see if we can get a bid from them, the people that can really use it. So I'd like to say no on this, on these two properties.
Okay, that's fine. Okay, so for this page, Commissioner recommends approving number 23 and number 24. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed? Carried. Thank you, Eric.
Okay, you're welcome. Just as an update, real quick, we have we're down to about 145 properties on this list, which is kind of an all-time low, and which represents about 1/10 of 1% of the 142,000 properties in the county. So I appreciate everyone's help on all this. So have a good day.
You too. Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, next up is Mr. Brooks. Commissioner Brooks, are you out there?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. So A is a request supplemental appropriation to increase capital project number 745-20, the Hickory Hill Golf Course equipment, from $147,000 to $156,000. The said capital project was placed on hold in 2020. The increase reflects new state contract pricing increase for 2021. Monies to come from bonding. And this was approved yesterday at Physical Services, correct, Mr. Cheney?
Correct.
Okay.
Unanimously.
All right. Motion and a second for discussion, please.
Benelli motion.
Kulisek motion.
Benelli and Kulisek, thank you. Again, pretty self-explanatory, Jim, but go ahead.
Yeah, I'll take it from here. This is Mike on the deal.
Oh, hi, Mike.
As I mentioned yesterday, all of the three requests that are before you, placed on hold in 2020, So if in fact the financial condition of the county improves and we're able to make these capital equipment purchases, we went out to get updated quotes from the vendors. And that's why we're here before you, because the price increases. As it pertains to Hickory Hill, one of the pieces of equipment had no change in price. 3 had increases with New York State contract price increases, and 1 piece of equipment, the 2020 model, is no longer available. So that's pretty much what consists of the Hickory Hill request.
Okay. Questions from committee members? Other legislators? All in favor as presented then? Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Thank you. Okay, B is a request supplemental appropriation to increase capital project number 737-20, park equipment from $76,000 to $78,000. The said capital project was again placed on hold last year. The increase reflects the New York State contract pricing for 2021. Money to come from bonding. Motion in a second, please.
Sutherland.
Thank you.
Kulisek.
Sutherland and Kulisek. Gentlemen?
Okay, there's 3 pieces of equipment within the park maintenance request. One is the 2020 model is no longer available. One is the New York State contract price increase, and the third one is just a change in attachments.
Okay, and again, this was approved yesterday at physical. I was listening. Questions from legislators? Okay, hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed? Carried as well. Thank you. C is request supplemental appropriation to increase capital project number 746-20, Stony Ford Golf Course equipment from $103,000 to $110,000. The new said capital project was placed on hold as well in 2020. The increase reflects as well the new New York State contract pricing for 2021. Monies to come from bonding. Motion in a second, please.
Benelli motion.
Kulisek.
Thank you. Gentlemen?
Okay, there are 5 pieces of equipment within the Stony Ford request. 1 has no change in price. 3 have New York State contract pricing increases, and as well as a 2020 model is no longer available.
Okay. Mr. Paduk, questions?
Yeah, just a question. In 2021, they came up to 108,694, so you just rounded it to 110?
Yes.
In case there's a,
Correct.
well, we've already addressed the increase, right?
Yes, we have. I don't like to put in a capital project that's going to be so close to the dollar amount. And again, we'll only spend the 108, say
Well,
694.90. And when we close the capital project, the amount, I think, goes back to debt service.
Right, okay. Just checking.
Yeah, it never gets spent, so it never gets into debt service, actually.
Right.
All right, any other questions? Hearing none, all in favor as presented?
Aye.
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 Opposed?
Aye.
Carried. Thank you, gentlemen.
Okay, thank
Enjoy.
Thank you. Before we leave, I just want to let you guys know that today, or tomorrow actually, is Mike's last day. He's retiring. So if anybody wants to
Very
wave
nice.
goodbye to Mike,
Okay.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Enjoy the
Well
next
deserved.
journey.
he's
Well
gonna.
deserved.
Thank you for
Congrats.
everything, Mike.
And I thank you all as well. Thank you.
He's been
Thank you.
tremendous, tremendous help for me, and is going to be missed. But I'm very happy for him that he's entering the next phase of his life. So we wish him well.
Very
Best
good.
of luck.
All the best. Good
Best
luck,
of luck.
Mike.
Thank you.
So, Mike-
Thank you all.
Mike, are you really going to put your toes in the sand like behind you?
Yes, most likely, yes.
Very nice, very
Thanks,
nice.
everyone.
All right,
Enjoy a long retirement.
thank you.
Excellent. Thank you, gentlemen.
All right.
Next up is Dan Castricone, update, risk management, and you should have also received an email from Carrie Yan with the risk management annual report. But before that, I wanted to say everyone is sorry to hear of your loss of your mom, Dan.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that. I'm sorry I wasn't able to make the last meeting, but I was traveling that.
Of course,
At that-
understood. Understood, of course.
So, from the risk management perspective, I've sent over everyone pretty much everything that's going on. Other highlights, we are increasing the reimbursement this year for the vision program. Okay, we're going to be able to increase the amount that our employees get, back for an eye exam, from $35 up to $44. A little bit of increase in lenses and bifocals and all of those without increasing anybody's premiums. Just looking at the run rate of, how much we're using in our fund, what we're collecting, we're able to do a little bit better at this point. So that's some good news for our employees. I know that you asked a question about there was an insurance issue with one of the local hospitals.
Yes.
Sent out a question, they had a question about not accepting our county health insurance plan. And of course, it turns out that the issue that we have with that is simply that our administrator has the same name as was named in the letter. Has nothing to do with our insurance. Our insurance continues to be the finest insurance available to anybody, anywhere, I believe, and is accepted, near universally. If you look at the attachments that I sent on the risk management update, one for 2020, one of the things I'm very proud of is we were able to decrease the county's insurance premiums, over the last 12, 14 months in a running total of around $200,000 by rebidding all of our insurance products. We brought that down to about $1.6 million in premium. So, that was very proud that we were able to pull that off. I think that's good news for everyone.
Sure.
We're also able to eliminate one consultant completely and rebid our actuarial services, cut that in half. That was able to save us another $30,000. So in addition to all the things that the other departments are doing, to save money for this 2020 COVID year, we had some other stuff in the works that's worked out real well for us and the county. Also put in there my proposals for kind of reorganizing the contract bidding process when it comes to the insurance requirements. It's a little haphazard, in trying to convey exactly what someone needs in order to do business with us. So there's a matrix there along with some instructions. So anybody that wants to do business with the county would be able to go right to those documents and figure out exactly what it is that they're going to need in order to do business with us and to make sure that we're protecting, our interests to the best extent that we possibly can. We continue to do our training, doing most of it virtually. The staff here is running pretty much half in, half out. Everybody is getting their job done. We don't have a real crush until the end of March. We just have to start doing a lot of ACA compliance, and then into June with a lot of Medicaid reimbursement stuff. But until the end of March, we should be good with the half in, half out stuff that we've been running so far. Happy to answer any questions that anybody has on any of the stuff that I brought up or sent out.
Okay. Yes. As working today, I wasn't able to review the email, but I will read it tonight when I get home. Questions or comments from other legislators? Mr. Kulisek.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman. Dan, there's full-page ads in the Middletown paper about Montefiore Hospital here in Newburgh not accepting state health benefits, our plan. But you're saying that the hospital does, in fact, there's
do.
not a problem with any of ours, correct?
Exactly
Okay.
true.
Because it's been repetitious full-page ads in the Times Herald Record stating that they're not taking, Empire Health Plan. So
Yeah, they're not, but that's not our health plan. Empire is only our administrator.
okay.
So, the NYSHIP plan is the NYSHIP plan, and they are thrilled when they see it.
Okay, very good. Thank you.
Yeah, not only repetitious newspaper ads, but I got 3 letters in the mail. So, all righty. Any other questions for Mr. Castricone? Mr. Kulisek, is your hand still up? Oh, okay.
Sorry.
No problem. Katie?
Thank you so much, Mr. Chairman. Dan, I just want to thank you and your staff. It was a very comprehensive report, and it really gave us a great idea of the things that are happening within your office and the changes that you've made and the way you've been addressing the various different challenges that are facing your particular department. I thought it was a good report, and I thank you for it.
I appreciate that. Thank you, Katie.
All right. Any other questions or comments from legislators? Hearing none. Again, thank you very much, Dan, for the report. I'll read it when I get home tonight, and thank you for all you do and your
Thank you
department
very
and all they do.
Great to see everybody again.
We'll have you back soon.
You bet.
Okay, next up is Karen Hablow, Commissioner of Finance. Hi, Karen.
Hi, good afternoon. Can everybody hear me okay?
Is Carrie still here? I thought I saw her check in before.
I believe so. Not sure.
Yes, I am.
Welcome. Okay, so first up is local law to continue the imposition of tax under local law number 13 of 2009, known as the Orange County Hotel and Motel Room Occupancy Tax Local Law for an additional 3 years. Can I get a motion and a second for discussion, please?
So moved.
Kulisek.
Hines.
Kulisek and Hines. Karen.
Thank you. So this is a request to pass a local law to continue the hotel and motel room occupancy tax, which was established in 2009. And I just wanted to add that our hotel motel tax revenue has grown every year since inception in 2009, with the exception of 2020, obviously due to the coronavirus. It is a significant revenue for the county, and a sizable portion of the revenue goes to fund tourism in Orange County. So there was also one other thing I wanted to note at the Rules Committee. The question came up as to whether some of our underlying municipalities had also been successful in enacting a hotel motel tax. And I was able to get information from the town of Walk Hill that the governor had signed and approved their request the last week of December, and the town of Walk Hill still has to pass a resolution themselves to enact it, but they did get approval, so that's good news for them. And hopefully the same is true for the other municipalities that applied.
I think the town of Newburgh has applied as well.
Right.
All right, Mr. Paduk.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chairman. Karen, in that same regard, Walk Hills, I know they're going to be approving it. Does that percentage that they have is on top of ours?
That's correct. It's separate.
So we'll distribute the money back to them, or it'll go directly to them?
It will go directly. The hotels that are in that municipality in the town of Walk Hill will be required to remit 5% to us. And if they had asked for 5%, they would have to remit 5% to them. And depending on how their local law is written, they may not require quarterly reporting. They may require monthly or some other periodic interval, but we require quarterly remittances. That doesn't mean they have to do the same as us, but we will not get or collect their money in any way.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, any other hands? Mr. Menuda.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just a quick note with regard to the hotel tax. We also enacted legislation for Airbnb. I was wondering if that was included in part of that.
Airbnb is a separate contract between the County of Orange and Airbnb. The reason we were able to enter that contract is because of this law, but that contract is separate from the law, if I'm understanding your question.
Yes, thank you.
Sure.
Yes, it took quite some time for Mr. Port to get Airbnb on board, but Karen and Mr. Port have worked on that for quite a long time.
Mhm.
Mr. Kulisek.
Thank you. Those Airbnb dollars are all in the total of bed tax that you report, right?
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Any other questions or comments? All right, seeing none, all in favor as presented? Aye.
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 Opposed? Carried, thank you. Next up is sales tax update. And again, Karen sent something that was very informative today. Carrie Ann sent it out to everyone, so I'm not sure if it's on your computer or your phone. Karen?
Thank you. So the first thing I'll speak to is the spreadsheet that we send to you on a monthly basis, which reports the county share of sales tax. So the one that I had sent for today's meeting represents our final submission for the fiscal year ending December 31 of 2020. And we'll just review that, just a couple numbers on here I want to point out. So sure. For the county, our sales tax that we budgeted for 2020 is represented on the bottom line as $220,994,773. That's what we budgeted. What we actually received was the $204,614,605. So that left us short with a deficit of just over 16 million, or 7.4% under budget for the year. As compared to the prior year, just a little bit more of a deficit of all the way over to the right bottom corner of the page is 7.49% our deficit as compared to the prior year. So again, this is the county portion of sales tax. On a gross level, which includes all of our sales tax that we receive before we distribute to the underlying municipalities, we had budgeted just over 300 million. So $300,149,544 for the year. And we received 277.9 million. So that just shows you the deficit on a gross level. And last month I had shared the final municipal numbers. Unless anybody has a question, I won't review those again. If anybody, did you want to stop and see if there's questions regarding this?
Sure.
Attachment?
Questions on the spreadsheet here? Not as bad as it could have been.
Agreed. Okay.
Right. I don't see any questions, so you can go to the email from today.
Okay, so sorry about the late notice, but I thought this was pretty interesting, and I think you'll get some of the answers you've been asking for a while from this. So this is a report that I received from the Office of the State Comptroller with an overview of sales tax statewide, and they just looked in particular, I thought was interesting on page 5. This is somewhat of an answer to the question that has been posed by several of you legislators about how much of our sales tax is attributable to online sales. And if you look in the table there, figure 5, page 5, and go down to Orange County, you can see all the way to the right column, 6.378 million is the estimated local sales tax collected. They call it from Marketplace and Nexus sales, but it's the best estimation from online sales. Now, there's a lot of footnotes to this and a lot of caveats, and this represents a 6-month period from March to August of 2020. So obviously it was a year that you wouldn't really be able to forecast against because of the oddities of COVID and spending. Maybe you could infer that that year's online sales might be a little bit higher just due to the fact that most retailers were closed. I don't know. That's just a guess, a logical guess of mine. But if you annualize that, it comes out to just about 12.8 million. And that's even dangerous to annualize it because there is a big seasonality effect to sales tax, including online sales tax, I would assume. The only other thing, but I know you guys want a ballpark or a best guess, so I'm trying to give you that, but don't hold me to those numbers.
Great.
And I also just want to bring your attention, with respect to this chart, there is a footnote further along, let's see where it is. I think it's on near the end. It's footnote 8 that describes a little bit more about what they used in that category as far as classifications. And I think it's important to note that, as I've been saying all along, if a retailer conducts both in-store and online retailing, such as like a Walmart, who does a lot of like Walmart.com, then they would be classified under the retail trade sector and not included in this analysis. So I think, if you really wanted a good, accurate number of your pure online sales, it's definitely upward of 12.8 million on an annual basis. Okay. That was all. Actually, I'm just going to make one more point. I apologize. On page 6, I know some of you will do your due diligence and compare our line here in the Mid-Hudson region of Orange County. You're going to compare those numbers to the numbers that I give you on my regular spreadsheet. They will not match, so I want to tell you that right now. The reason is these numbers provided on this appendix is their gross numbers before they've taken away our sales tax for AIM and the Distressed Hospital Fund. And it's also on a cash basis, not an accrual basis. So again, they're not going to match. But just to give you a little more detail, I know some of you have asked in the past also are what amounts were diverted from our sales tax to fund those state level obligations. So for 2020, the AIM money that was taken out of the county's share of sales tax, which was actually a state level obligation, amounted to 1.14 million. They also took an additional 1.74 million from our share of sales tax to fund a state level distressed hospital / nursing home fund. So in total, the state has taken just about 2.88 million from us in 1 year to fund state level obligations, but they took it from our county share of sales tax.
Isn't it proposed by the governor to give us back our AIM money?
I have not been made aware of that, but we still have it scheduled to come out in May of this year, our next payment. So I haven't been made aware of that. There are a lot of things that kind of float around.
Right. Okay.
Until they're actually signed as an executive order, we're not really made aware.
True. Mr. Cheney?
Thank you, Chairman. Karen, going back to the online purchasing, if I make a purchase from my home in Orange County, the amount of sales tax that's collected on that is going to be the 4% for the state, the 3 3/4 for Orange County, and then the MTA tax on top of that, correct?
Yes.
So if we were to have 4% for the county share, then we'd be getting more money. So by not having that, we're basically, I guess, giving our residents a benefit to begin with, but also we're losing out on the benefit of getting the percentages that basically all the other surrounding counties receive, correct?
That's true. Yes,
Okay.
absolutely. And I think in the past, maybe about a year ago, I did a little analysis on it. And I think that 1/4% represented about $20 million for us
I
on a gross level.
seem to recall that, yeah.
Yeah, on a gross level. And obviously, 25-ish, 26% of that would be distributed to the municipalities. But it would be a win-win for us and our underlying municipalities. And to be honest, if you look at the sales tax numbers, because we're unique in that we have Woodbury Commons, and that represents probably our biggest category of sales tax generation. And a lot of the people that frequent the Commons are from outside of the county. So, the impact that we would receive, a lot of that extra money would come from people visiting the county.
Right. Okay. Thank you very
All
much.
right.
I hope it's something we can continue to keep on at least the back burner, if not get it up to the front burner. And I know there's been resistance at the upper levels of government for years that have kind of put a damper on making it worthwhile to proceed. But okay, thank you.
I agree.
Thank you, Mr. Cheney. Also, Mr. Chairman, I see you're sitting there. I just received a low battery message, and I'm down in the basement at work. So if you have to finish up the meeting because my computer dies, I just need you to basically close out the last thing on the meeting. Mr. Paduk?
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Charge up.
I have no access in the basement, that's all.
Karen, on your comments regarding the AIM monies being taken out of sales tax and then the hospital fund of 1.74 as well, that 2.88 million, is that already deducted out of our amount from the December?
Yes.
From the December, it is, okay.
Yeah.
Just wanted to make sure.
They were deducted at different times during the year. In May, they take about 281,000 for the AIM, and then they take the remaining 859,000 in December for the AIM. And then for 2020, the payment for the distressed hospital fund was taken in one lump sum out of our February 4th payment.
Okay, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Just like the IRS, they could take it right away, automatically.
Mm-hmm.
Any other questions for our commissioner? All right, hearing none. Thank you very much again, Karen.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, next up, discussion of the budget update from our budget director, Deb. You're on mute.
Sorry.
That's okay.
I'll talk quick so you don't run out of power. So this last month, our total focus has been on closing out the 2020 POs and reviewing revenues. Finance does have to provide draft financials at the end of this week, so we're trying to do our part for them to meet those deadlines. And to be honest, we are behind this year. It's been like the perfect storm between reconciling COVID purchases and staff working remotely. So we are about 2 weeks behind where we would have been, but we're very close now, and we're going to get there by the end of the week. At the last meeting, I was asked, Mr. Paduk asked me about contractual account balances. I did say that I had hoped to have them at this meeting. Unfortunately, due to the delay, I don't have that information yet, but I will get it to you as soon as I have it. So sometime in March, I should have that for you, okay? We do continue to work on the implementation of our Hyperion budgeting software. Our original software with Oracle is becoming unsupported at the end of this year, so that is why we're going ahead with this project. And we're hoping to roll this out with the capital budgeting in April. So you should be able to start seeing some reports and some information coming from that system then. We continue to monitor vacant positions. As of February 23rd, we have now 309 full and part-time vacant positions, which has achieved a savings of $3.6 million to date. We do try to forecast out the savings. So if all positions remain vacant for the remainder of the year, we feel that we are on track to meet the 80% austerity that was implemented in the 2021 budget. Even though we do know that there will be changes, I still feel that we are going to make that that target. But also just want to mention that having such a high significant vacancy factor this year will create a bit of a challenge when we do the 2022 budget to fill in that gap. And lastly, I sent out a copy of what we call the undistributed account. Okay, and these are the larger revenues that we budget for the county. And as you can see, we are about $20.4 million deficit. And those accounts represent sales tax, which Karen just talked about. Hotel tax was about 2 million short, and that's pretty much where we thought it was going to come in. Games of chance, we budgeted 2.5, and we received 872,000. So overall, a $20.4 million deficit. And as Karen also mentioned, had we been able to recoup our AIM or distressed hospital fund, that would have been an additional $3 million in the county's pocket. So
Right.
it takes an additional hit on us. So that's
Absolutely.
about it.
Okay.
All right.
Questions from
You have any
legislators? Mr. Kulisek.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman. And between finance and budget, do we anticipate or have we received any COVID reimbursements from FEMA, any of the federal programs, state programs, or are we expecting any?
Okay, so it does come in through finance, but I did have an update from Karen because I don't know if she's still on the line. We have not received any significant fundings. We received one small payment, probably less than $1,000, but we have not received any FEMA reimbursement to date, per se.
Okay, because everyone, I'm sure, all departments have been keeping records of all COVID-related expenses in anticipation of submitting it for reimbursement to, I would assume, the federal government.
Correct. Emergency management has been handling that task.
Okay. Thank you.
Yep.
Mr. Chairman.
I'm sorry, one other question, I'm
Karen.
sorry.
Sorry, I'll put my
Karen, go
camera
ahead.
on.
Okay, go ahead,
Sorry
Karen.
about that. I just want to clarify, I was able to find out, we did receive almost $139,000 on January 29th. We haven't actually booked it yet because we're waiting for letters that we just received last Friday. And now we have to, do a lot of a lot of work in the system to actually classify them correctly and peg them to the right expenses. But it's good news. We did receive $139,000 and we're working on getting that processed. But we have received the money and we do expect to receive a lot more, but it can take, months to years.
A drop in the
Okay,
bucket, actually.
Another question is that total from all departments that emergency services has tabulated. Do we know that number?
I actually don't have that number. Do you, Deb?
I do not have that number either.
Okay, I'd be curious to know what that number was spread across all departments throughout the county.
Yeah, that would be good to provide maybe next month. That's fine. Great.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Kulisek. Any other questions? All right. Seeing no other hands, I guess I made it. So a motion to adjourn is in order.
You made it.
Yeah.
So move.
So move. Second.
Menuda and Paduk, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Yeah, I made it just before the 5%. Excellent. Drive careful home, everyone. Thank you.
Be safe, everybody.
Be
Have a
safe.
great night.
Bye, everybody.
Not all.
Hey, Steve. Steve.